in those interviews. I kind of put my heart and soul to my website, so I'm glad that you're able to take a look at that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I want to start right away because first of all, I'm so honored to be talking to you today. I love your work.
Thank you.
I read a quote from you, and I don't know where this quote came from. It was on your one of your profiles that I read, that you once stated that you were an actress with a mission. Is that still a true statement today?
Still, yes. No matter what, it won't change. The cause of this journey from Iran to the UK and then to the US, the cause is still there. I'm still an actress with a mission, and I'm still trying to be as helpful to my people, my compatriots, as possible. The reason I left because I knew I would be able to help more from outside Iran, working outside Iran rather than staying inside. Otherwise, I thought I would either be imprisoned or killed or whatever. But it would be a lot easier to fight when I'm outside Iran.
Right.
And I'm still doing it. And lately there was an announcement that the Iranian court was going to hang 3 young men for joining the protesters last November. The peaceful protest that turned into a bloody protest, and then the government started killing, the young people who did not have any guns on them, who were not equipped. They came to a peaceful protest, and then it turned into a bloody one. 1,500 were killed. Now, they announced that they're going to hang 3 of them who were captured. So I believe this is, if I'm not mistaken, this received the most, the highest numbers in Twitter in the course of 2 weeks. The post that said, "Do not execute these 3 young men. Do not execute." And then it turned into "Say no to execution in Iran." So I'm still working on it. Not that because I want to go back and live there. My daughter was born.
You there?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
Yeah, sorry. So what I'm saying is that I'm doing this for the benefit of the people in Iran. I don't even, I won't even be able to live there.
Yeah.
But yes, still the same thing. There's an old saying. They say you can send a man out of his country, but cannot get the country out of him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's my birth country that I still care about, feel sorry for, especially for the younger generation.
Yeah.
Because my generation, when we were young, Tehran used to be the Paris in the Middle East. So, yes, it is still alive and active, and it's just, there is no stop. I cannot close this chapter until all the prisoners, political prisoners. Another thing I'm working on right now, trying to make a clip with a couple of Iranian scholars, is now the situation of our political prisoners in the Iranian prisons. Now, I guess Mohammadi, they have sent her, she was captured in Tehran, but because they wanted to scold her, they didn't put her in a prison in Tehran. They sent her to Zanjan, which is the worst, one of the worst prisons on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And now it's been contaminated with corona, and they're still refusing to let these political prisoners to go home, at least to give them a few weeks to go home. So I'm working on a clip on that one now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
passionate
about it.
Yeah. Well, actually, early this morning, I watched one of your first films, The Report by Abbas Kiarostami. That was such an early time in your acting career. Do you sort of, and you talked about not going back to Iran, but do you look back at a film like that, made in Iran, does it have a little bit of a fondness in your heart? Because it's such a it's where you started?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where my roots are.
Yeah.
And by the way, all these films, each and every one of them, they mean a lot to me and they have a special place in my heart. And what happened to them is even more interesting. The report was never, ever officially shown in Iran.
Right.
It was censored and it was confiscated at its time during the Shah's regime. And it was never, ever was shown in the theaters, not on television, after the revolution. So this is a film that not many people have seen, but whomever have seen it, they know, and they say that this is a classic. But let me tell you another one, give you another example, which is, again, a part of my roots. And this one, I almost, I literally cried last week when I heard the news. My first film, an epic film about a dynasty, the dynasty before Pahlavi in Iran, Qajar dynasty, a very rich family, corrupted to their teeth, and they are using and abusing and harassing people who believes them, including their servants. Which, when I watched Parasite, it reminded me a lot of my first film, which is called The Game of Chess with the Wind.
Yeah.
And this film was right away, because there were, it was about a wealthy, sort of aristocrat family, and the government thought, oh my God, this is not going to be appropriate, so right away it was confiscated and then censored. I did not see anything. All I saw was voice, ADR, voiceover.
Yeah.
I saw bits and pieces of it, never saw the whole film together.
Yeah.
The film the film disappeared from the face of the earth 45 years ago.
Yeah.
And all these years, I've been thinking, oh my God, this was such an amazing film and epic. And we had to import special lenses for it. That year, in Hollywood, they made a movie called Meyerling, if you recall.
Yeah.
Meyerling was, they made special lenses for Meyerling that can shoot with candle lights, not necessarily in the light. These lenses were created for Meyerling, and they were very expensive. Iran bought these lenses so they can film this, they can shoot this film with these lenses, because this film was about 19th century. At the end, it will come into the 20th century, and present now. Yeah. But the whole film is about 19th century, and people didn't have electricity back in Iran, and they used a lot of candles.
Yeah.
It's visually, it's one of the most beautiful films I've ever done in my life. And guess what? After 45 years, this year, this film is going to be shown with another 24 classic films around the world at the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I cried.
Yeah.
When I saw Power Cinema getting the news out, and like, what? What? Is this my film? Is this my first film? And I'm reading it. It says clearly, the game of the chess with the wind. And I'm like, is this my, oh my God, let me see. Yes, it is. I was almost having it,
I watched the report on YouTube. Like, that's how I found it.
Yeah. Did it have a good quality?
It was okay. I mean, like, it obviously has that, like, film graininess look to it, and there's, like, scratches on the film and stuff, but honestly, it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, and your performance is great.
Have a quality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. The seeds you put into the ground, and after 45 years, you see the tree full of fruits, and you're thinking, is this for real?
Yeah.
Is this film really going to be played amongst 24 classic films of the world in Cannes Film Festival? Yes, it is. It is. It's like, oh my God. I was so happy. I can't even tell you. It's somebody, when I posted the news, somebody said, how are you feeling about this? And I said, honestly, it's like seeing my child after 45 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Honestly.
Well,
yeah.
Like doing the research on, like when I do the research for you before the interview, I heard the story you told about how you got cast for House of Sand and Fog. And, I mean, that's like the most amazing story I think I've ever heard about casting in general. Did you think that was just a beautiful strike of fate at that moment?
It must have been.
Yeah.
As you know, as some people say, yes, the luck strikes you, but then you have to, it's for you to carry on and prove to the world that you weren't just lucky, you were really good, and you were a great choice for this. So, to be honest with you, yes, at that moment, because I was in Europe on a theatrical tour, and DreamWorks was announcing, using Iranian media, announcing that they needed a woman, actress to play this role.
Yep.
And the poor director had already auditioned 300 Iranian housewives, including some singers, Iranian singers. But still, he had not found, his naughty, according to him. And I was told later on, after I did my audition, which recently I posted it, because I want to, every time I have time, I try to give theater lessons, acting lessons for free. So I'm planning to do this starting mid-August. That's why I posted my audition and I said, take a look at this audition because I'm going to work on this with you. I'm going to teach you how to prep yourself for an audition and how to audition, because these two things are very complicated and you really need to know what to do. And it was interesting. Somebody said, asked me that what did the director said after the audition? I said the director didn't say anything. But later on, the casting director told me that the director took the DVD with him, took it back then it was VHS. Right. He put it under his arm. He was going through the corridors in DreamWorks building saying, I found my naughty. So,
wow.
He had not found his naughty.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. Finally, the casting director, Deborah Akila, now my dear friend, she decides to send her employees to Beverly Hills and Westwood, where Iranians have businesses, and ask them as who their favorite actresses are. And believe it or not, everybody gave them my name. That's why they had different spellings of my name. And when they called me, I was so bewildered because the person on the line was asking to talk to Shohreh Agdashloo. And I said, oh my God, it sounds like it's my name, but it's not my name. And the woman said, whatever your name is, would you mind coming down and sort it out for us and give an audition? And I'm like, coming down to where? DreamWorks.
Wow.
I swear to God, Neil, I went speechless.
Yeah.
My knee was aching because it's DreamWorks. And then my next question was, regarding? And she goes, House of Sand and Fog. And I'm really just speechless because a year before, I saw Oprah in her book club, another favorite of mine, talking to the writer, and she kept saying, this is the best. She repeated it 3 times. Buy one for yourself and one for your friend, which I did. And I had read the book. And while reading the book on another theatrical tour, and in the car, my husband keeps telling me, you're going to get dizzy, don't. And I'm like, I cannot stop reading it. And I'm making, angry sounds like, and my husband says, what's the matter with you? And I say, if one day they make a movie out of this book and do not give me this phone, it would be very unfair of them. Yeah. Then there is no democracy here. And my husband's like, you're such a political animal. What has it got to do with democracy? I'm like, because I was born to play this show.
Well, I mean, in
Was
like,
it secret?
and you were. Obviously, you were.
I put it out. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I
It
mean,
could have been secret. I put it out into the universe.
yeah, that's true. I mean, well, and you were nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. I mean, and at that time, and still to this day, you were the first Middle Eastern person, first Iranian ever nominated for acting, and you still are. You still are to this day. Is that, does that frustrate you, or is that, what's that?
No, actually, it does not frustrate me. I'm still wearing it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Well, I have been. Nobody has been able to, compete so far. So yes, I'm still the first runner-up, and yes, I'm wearing this medal. But it's like a badge of honor for me. Yes, and I love it every time. I'm a humble actor, but at the same time, I'm an actor, and I like to be sort of acknowledged. When people say, when they call me, when I'm giving a lecture or something, and they call me and they say, Agdashloo, an Oscar nominee, Emmy winner, I feel like, okay, good. I've been useful. I've done something.
Right.
Worthy of mentioning it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and I think like with the wins for Parasite and stuff like that, like the Academy takes new turns, but like we hope that more Iranians, more Middle Eastern people will be nominated for awards of this nature. Correct?
Absolutely, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
And you have the fact that the Academy wants to have as many international films as possible. If you recall, 2 years ago, when Alfonso Cuarón was receiving his Oscars, on the third one, he said, perhaps from now on, we should not call these movies foreign films anymore, because they are no longer foreign to us. They're international films.
Yeah.
And immediately, the Academy changed the category into international films, meaning that they not only they understand what Alfonso Cuarón was trying to say, but also they're willing to have more, much more international films possible, and they're doing their best to include other people. I recently heard that they have nominated a couple of people, filmmakers from Iran, to be members of the Academy.
Right.
And the one who was calling was asking me, what kind of a decision is this? And I said, the Academy is trying to have more members from all different walks of life, different color, schemes and background and nationality, in order to make it a more diverse place. So when it comes to voting, we can sort of say that yes, this is a mutual vote, made by the people of the world, not necessarily a certain nation or a certain industry.
Right. Yeah, well, and also, too, I mean, my first experience of watching you was on 24, which I thought your performance was great. And obviously, you hear a little bit of backlash from, like, Middle Eastern stereotypes or things of that nature. But I've heard you approach your acting and that seems to diffuse any argument of that, because you're just like, I'm going to take this character and make it my own. Is that the easiest and best approach to diffuse like any accusations of like a stereotype for a character?
Well, my father always used to say, honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So after a couple of weeks hearing rumors about people cussing and cussing me because of I'm playing this role, and what I did, I called the Iranian radio in California, 70 AM KIRN, they call themselves.
Yeah.
And I said, you keep talking to people who believe that I have given them a sort of a bad face or a bad reputation. You give them time. You have to give them equivalent time to talk, defend myself, and talk about why I have chosen this show.
Yeah.
And they gladly accepted it. They said, by all means. And they gave me time. I went live And I said, what is the matter with you? Most of you have been living outside Iran in the rest of the world for the last 38 years. You should know better than this. I'm an actress. I'm looking for characters that are multi-layered. This one is beyond belief. She's a mother. She's a beloved wife. She's a caretaker. She's a terrorist. This one is right up my alley as an actress who likes to play these roles, these meaningful roles. And by the way, why are you doing this? I told them. And stop harassing me. Stop making rumors about me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm just a humble actor.
Yeah.
So watch this movies with no fear. And it stopped.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, well,
they stopped.
Yeah, I mean, and I've noticed recently, you were in X-Men, you did Star Trek Beyond, and obviously you've even gained like massive notoriety with the Expanse. What has it sort of been about like sci-fi genre in general? Do you feel like the sci-fi genre approaches you more in today's day and age, or is it something that you're drawn to?
Yes, it's really interesting. Yeah. After X-Men, it started.
Yeah.
Perhaps they figured that I could do a good job in science fiction as well.
Yeah.
Because I do remember that prior to the X-Men, every time, after House of Sand and Fog, I refused to do auditions unless it was for a totally different character than what I could pull through. I never forget I had an offer to play a doctor that they wanted me to audition. And I told my agent, I said, I'm not auditioning for this. Ask them to use their imagination. I have played a couple of doctors. If they were asking me to play Queen Elizabeth II from Spain, yes, by all means, I would audition for it day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
But doctor, I played so many doctors. Don't insult me. Use your imagination.
Right.
So the week after they came back with an offer, I'm still on the same page. But I do remember after that, my agent sent me to a meeting and greetings.
Yeah.
As soon as I would enter, all of these top-notch producers, executive producers, they would say, hello, Mrs. Agdashloo. It's an honor to have you with us. 10 minutes into, they would start laughing and they kept saying, woman, you are funny. And I kept telling them, I keep telling you I'm funny, but you don't trust me. You wouldn't give me tragedies and dramas. You don't give me comedy. And they would laugh again. But they didn't give it to me until I produced it myself 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's already. But what I'm trying to say is that, yes, after I did X-Men, the industry noticed that, okay, she can do sci-fi as well, science fiction as well. And not just try to do the drama. And offers started coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's you've shown like a really great versatility, but let's sort of talk about the movie that you've been promoting now with the Cuban. How did the director Sergio Navarrete and Ana Goya like bring you onto the film?
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I had met with Sergio thanks to the Toronto Film Festival, the hub of modern filmmakers and intellectuals. I had met with him years prior to this. I bumped into him again at the Toronto Film Festival 2 years ago, and he said, I have a project which I would like to talk to you about. We met on the following Saturday, having the brunch together. He started telling me the story, and I was looking at him with my jaw dropped, and I was so surprised. I was waiting for him to finish so I could say, I'm on board. And I do anything I can because of the fact that I had experienced this with my own father. I lost my father to Alzheimer.
Wow.
15 years ago, my mother called me. I could never visit them in Iran ever since I left Iran because I am banned. I cannot go back to my birth country. That's why every year I brought my parents out to Turkey, Istanbul, for a family reunion. Either Istanbul or Greece, or because I couldn't go. 15 years ago, 10 years ago, my mother called me and said, your father is showing signs of Alzheimer's. Doctors are saying that it is Alzheimer's, and he keeps forgetting stuff. We're all about to go to Istanbul for another family reunion. And she said, my father was the most noble man I'd ever seen in my life. Never heard him shout, never laid his finger on us. Fascinating, well-read, educated man. And my mother said, you know how noble he is. And if we may ask you, who are you? Just politely say, I'm your daughter, Shohreh. And it happened. And for the first time it happened, I was literally shaking inside. And I politely said, sir, I'm your daughter, Shohreh. And he was, okay, thank you. So on the second day, my brother, who is a doctor, and he loved the Persian music, started playing Persian music. All of a sudden, my father comes to life.
Wow.
He remembers each and every one of us by our names. He even remembers the song, and he starts singing with us. And my brother starts, tapping on the table, like a drum, using it as a drum. And
yeah.
My father was doing the same thing. He was with us. And my mother was like, oh my God, all year round I was waiting for a moment for him to come back so I can talk to him.
Yeah.
And we were all, but I'm still wondering why I did not learn my lesson from it. I saw it happen, but maybe I thought it was just my father.
Yeah.
That it was just happening to us.
Yeah.
So when Sergio told me this story, I said, Sergio, I've gone through this. I've had it, and it's exact experience. And I remember that after this, I was giving an interview to Persian TV, and they asked me, how my family is doing in Iran, and I talked about my father, and the fact that when he came to Istanbul to visit me, how he came to life, and I played music for him, although he is showing signs of Alzheimer's. And many people called the station and tagged the station, and they said, actually, we did the same thing for our patients, which we're taking care of at home, and it's working.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I did not sort of. Perhaps it was destiny.
Yeah.
When Sergio told me, I put the two and two together, and I said, Sergio, it works. I've seen it. I know. I believe in it. I'm on board. I want also to produce it. Make sure that it's going to be a good film for us, because this matter is so original.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I found it to just be an incredibly human film. And what I kept talking about writing my review is that there's really no villains in this movie. And obviously it was probably pretty easy for you to develop your character, knowing sort of your scenarios and having experience. But can you talk a little bit about the character you play and even working the scenes with Anna? Because her performance is really so good. She seems to be a very up-and-coming actor.
Oh, my gosh, she's done an amazing job. Yeah. Absolutely. To be honest with you, the real villain of the film is the Alzheimer.
Yeah.
That we're all trying to fight.
Yeah.
And portraying my character was easy and was not easy.
Yeah.
50% easy because my character and I share a lot in pursuing our career, in leaving our countries behind, in pursuing higher education, and using every minute of our life to polish ourselves and make a better person of ourselves, so we can make a better world for our family and friends and people who are around us.
Yeah.
Make the world a place for them as well. We dedicated ourselves to our profession, and that in that part, I totally understand her.
Yeah.
I had to say no to many things that I was, I would have loved to do, but I said no to them because I was determined to stay dedicated to my profession.
Right.
I had purpose of being a spokesperson for such and such entity and receive hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But I told the person, I said, I cannot do this. I cannot I'm an actor. So it's not easy to stick to your profession, especially in a country that you're not very well familiar with its culture and laws and orders.
Right.
And our character, my character and I had to do a lot.
Yeah.
Not blaming just an immigrant or a refugee who still cannot speak the language of the country that she's living in, still has no idea about its laws and orders. So in that part, we were very alike.
Yeah.
But unlike her, I'm pretty outspoken about my feelings and for the world, for the people. And if I'm in love, I can easily shout out and let the whole world know that I'm in love.
Yeah.
But my character is incapable of doing so.
Right.
And I have to say that I feel sorry for her that she still has to stay in closet. Still, after all these years in living in a free society, living in a free world, knowing that she is the owner of her life, she doesn't have to, hide her emotions.
Right.
Because now she's on her own and she can make any choices that she likes. In other words, she has a choice here. She's not in Afghanistan anymore. But unfortunately, I have a feeling that it's too late for her to break the taboo. She cannot break the taboo.
Yeah. Well, and talk about Anna. I mean, working with her, what was? Obviously,
loved working with her.
Yeah.
Loved working with her. This is a young actress who obviously has come a long way.
Yeah.
She was a little girl in the Degrassi.
Yeah.
So, but it's amazing how interactive this young and beautiful actress is. It's hard to make some elderly actors to understand that acting is not just about acting it out. It's about interacting.
Right.
They come in, they act out, and they leave, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I have acted." No, it's about interaction.
Yeah.
She is amazing. I put my foot on the set, and she comes in, and when I go on the set, I'm usually in character. If you're going to, if you're about to shoot, I can't look around and then start shooting.
Yeah.
So she comes in, and she gives me the feelings that she's right there with me, and that she's the niece that one is, has been hoping to have and to educate and to make a doctor out of her.
Yeah.
So, you see what I mean? She was there. She was there for me, and I was there for her too.
Yeah, it's great.
Love working with her. What discipline? Talk about discipline. Talk about dedication. Everywhere I went, our transportation was fantastic. So I asked the guy who was in charge. I said, "To whom do we owe this? Because this is even better than $1 million movies." And he said, "I'm not really. I came to us and asked us to help and we're here for her." I'm like, "Oh my God!" And I've been everywhere. But we're really honestly making it. It's a lot. We owe Anna a lot. Sergio, Alessandro, and I, and the rest of the actors, we owe her a lot. This young actress was determined to tell this story because she thought it's important, and that's how it came to me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm truly grateful for this.
Yeah, so I have one last question for you because obviously I want to let you go. God, you've given me so much of your time already.
No worries about that. I'm home and I have nothing to do. So don't worry about
it. Good. I know.
I'm not going to pretend that, yes, it's very important. No, I'm here. I give service.
Yeah, we're all on quarantine anyway, right? Yeah. So tell me, when are we going to see you directing something? Because obviously you have a background in theater. You have a background in cinema. Like, I just can tell that you deserve to be a director or a writer in the room of some kind. So when is that going to happen?
Thank you so much. You just made my day.
Yeah.
Honestly, 5 years I've been looking for a right script or a screenplay or the right subject matter.
Yeah.
All my life, as an actress, I've always tried to be a part of, with all due respect to entertainment, industry only. In all my career, and you can see it in IMDb, I've tried to be a part of a meaningful story to tell.
Yeah.
And obviously, if I want to direct, it really has to be meaningful and relative and timely, and that we would be worthy of wasting the actor's time and my time and the investor's money.
Right.
So I am desperately looking. If anyone has a script that they truly believe that it's timely and relevant and it's really important story that needs to be told, I'm at their disposal.
Yeah. Well, good. I hope that happens sooner than later, because I just want to continue to see you up on the screen, because God, I mean, I have yet to see you deliver a bad performance. So that's, that just says a lot.
Thank God. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. What an amazing question. Yes.
Yeah.
My heart has been there for 5 years now.
Oh, that's so great. Well,
because
sure.
The first one, you want to have that X factor in your work when you do the first one.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I promise you, with the next one, I will call you.
Okay.
I say, Leo, you said it, you put it out into the universe, because you're the first one.
I will take you up on that.
Put it out into the universe. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait. Shohreh, you've been so kind. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Pleasure, Leo. If there is anything left, please don't hesitate to send me a text message. I'm calling you with my iPhone, cell phone. You have my number.
Yeah.
Anything you need, please don't hesitate to come.
Oh my God! Thank you so much, Shohreh. You're very kind. And hopefully you can have a great weekend even with quarantine or whatever situation we're in right now.
No matter what, I'm a positive person. My friends call me Pollyanna. I say Pollyanna.
Yeah.
So, because I'm trying to turn every negative energy into a positive energy. I'm not negating with a negative energy. Yeah. I'm an educated person. I know physics. I know negative and positive have to meet up so we can happen. But I'm not negating negative. But I would rather stay with the positive side of the world.
Yeah. Well, that's a great message to end on. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, Shohreh. Thank you so much.
You take care of yourself.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.